Have you ever wondered what drives millions of people to risk everything and leave their homes behind in search of a better life? The migrant crisis is a complex issue that affects countries around the world. And today, we're going to explore the top 10 migrant issues that are shaping this global phenomenon. Let's dive in. 1. Poverty and economic opportunities. One of the primary reasons people migrate is to escape poverty and seek better economic opportunities. Many migrants come from countries where jobs are scarce, wages are low, and the cost of living is high. They often face limited access to education, healthcare, and basic necessities, making it difficult to build a secure future. By moving to a more prosperous nation, they hope to find employment, earn a decent income, and provide a better life for themselves and their families. In many developing countries, economic instability, corruption, and lack of infrastructure hinder job creation and growth. Families struggle to make ends meet, and the prospect of escaping poverty seems bleak. Migration becomes a viable option for those seeking financial security and a chance to break the cycle of poverty. 2. Violence and conflict. Violent conflicts, wars, and political unrest are significant driving forces behind migration. People flee their home countries to escape persecution, human rights violations, and threats to their safety. Regions like the Middle East, Africa, and parts of Central America have witnessed mass migrations due to ongoing violence and instability. In war-torn areas, civilians often face the risk of being caught in the crossfire, forced recruitment, or targeted attacks based on their ethnicity, religion, or political affiliation. Even after conflicts subside, the aftermath of destruction, displacement, and trauma can make it challenging for people to rebuild their lives, prompting them to seek refuge elsewhere. Political unrest, such as oppressive regimes, human rights abuses, and lack of freedom of expression, can also drive migration. People may flee to avoid imprisonment, torture, or other forms of persecution due to their political beliefs or activism. 3. Environmental factors. Climate change, natural disasters, and environmental degradation are increasingly contributing to migration patterns. Rising sea levels, droughts, desertification, and extreme weather events can displace communities and force people to seek refuge elsewhere. For instance, many Pacific Islanders have had to relocate due to the threat of rising sea levels, which has made their homelands uninhabitable. In regions heavily dependent on agriculture, prolonged droughts or severe weather events can devastate crops, leading to food insecurity and loss of livelihood. This can prompt farmers and their families to migrate in search of better opportunities and a more stable environment. Environmental degradation, such as deforestation, soil erosion, and water pollution, can also render areas unsuitable for human habitation, forcing communities to seek alternative locations with access to clean water, arable land, and other natural resources. 4. Family reunification. Family ties are a powerful motivator for migration. People often migrate to be reunited with relatives who have already settled in another country. This desire for family reunification can lead to complex legal processes and long waiting periods, sometimes prompting individuals to seek unauthorized entry. Separation from loved ones can take an emotional toll, especially for families with children or elderly members who require care and support. The prospect of being reunited with immediate family members or joining an established community of relatives can provide a sense of security and comfort in a new environment. However, reunification processes can be lengthy and complicated, with strict eligibility criteria and quotas in many countries. This can result in families being separated for extended periods, leading some to explore irregular migration channels to bypass bureaucratic hurdles and reunite more quickly. 5. Human trafficking and smuggling. Unfortunately, many migrants fall victim to human trafficking and smuggling networks. These criminal organizations exploit vulnerable individuals, subjecting them to dangerous and inhumane conditions during their journey, and often forcing them into labor or sexual exploitation upon arrival. Traffickers and smugglers prey on the desperation of migrants, promising safe passage and better opportunities, only to enslave them or hold them for ransom. These practices put migrants at risk of physical and psychological abuse, deprivation of basic rights, and even loss of life. Women and children are particularly vulnerable to human trafficking, as they may be coerced into forced labor, domestic servitude, or the sex trade. Migrants who lack legal documentation or proper support systems are also prime targets for traffickers, who operate with impunity across borders. 6. Border security and immigration policies. The tightening of border security and immigration policies in many countries has made legal migration more difficult. Stricter visa requirements, quotas, and deportation policies can push migrants towards unauthorized entry, putting them at greater risk. As countries aim to control and regulate migration flows, they often implement measures such as border fences, increased surveillance, and stringent documentation requirements. While these measures are intended to enhance security, they can also create barriers for those seeking legal migration channels. Migrants may face long wait times, complex bureaucratic processes, and stringent eligibility criteria, which can be challenging to navigate, especially for those with limited resources or education. In some cases, these obstacles may lead individuals to seek out irregular migration routes, placing them in the hands of smugglers or exposing them to dangerous border crossings. 7. Integration and discrimination. Even after successfully migrating, many migrants face challenges with integration and discrimination in their new host countries. Language barriers, cultural differences, and xenophobia can make it difficult for migrants to access employment, education, and other essential services. Migrants may encounter prejudice and discrimination based on their race, ethnicity, religion, or national origin. This can manifest in various forms, such as harassment, unfair treatment in the workplace or housing market, and limited opportunities for social and economic mobility. 8. Remittances and brain drain. While migration can provide economic opportunities for individuals, it can also lead to brain drain in the countries of origin. Skilled and educated migrants often send remittances back home, but their departure can deprive their home countries of valuable human resources. Remittances, the money sent by migrants to their families back home, can be a significant source of income for many developing countries. However, the loss of highly skilled professionals, such as doctors, engineers, and scientists, can have long-term consequences for the economic and social development of these nations. Brain drain can exacerbate existing skill shortages and hamper the growth of critical sectors like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. It can also perpetuate cycles of poverty and underdevelopment as the brightest minds seek opportunities elsewhere, leaving their home countries with diminished human capital. 9. Migrant health and well-being. The arduous journey and uncertain living conditions can take a toll on the physical and mental health of migrants. Access to healthcare, adequate nutrition, and safe living environments are often limited, putting migrants at risk of various health issues. During their journey, migrants may face exposure to extreme weather conditions, lack of clean water and sanitation, and limited access to medical care. These factors can lead to the spread of infectious diseases, malnutrition, and other health problems. Additionally, the psychological stress of leaving behind their homes, enduring difficult transitions, and facing an uncertain future can have profound impacts on the mental well-being of migrants. Trauma, anxiety, and depression are common among those who have experienced violence, exploitation, or separation from loved ones. Providing adequate healthcare services, psychosocial support, and humane living conditions for migrants is crucial to safeguarding their health and well-being, both during their journey and upon arrival in host countries. 10. Children and education. Children are among the most vulnerable groups affected by migration. They may face disruptions in their education, experience trauma, and struggle to adapt to new environments. Ensuring access to education and protecting the rights of migrant children is a significant challenge. Migrant children often face barriers to accessing quality education, such as language barriers, lack of documentation, or discrimination in host communities. This can lead to interrupted schooling, lower academic achievement, and limited future prospects. The migrant crisis is a multifaceted issue that requires compassion, understanding, and collaborative efforts from governments, organizations, and individuals around the world. By addressing these top 10 migrant issues, we can work towards creating a more humane and equitable environment for those seeking a better life. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content on global issues.